Okay, this demo is going to show how you deploy a new release to the production environment from development to production using the new deploy DevOps functions. So first of all, we're going to log on. And then we're going to go into one of the projects, which is the actual website for our apps platform, and we're going to bring up the first page. And this is you've seen this before. This is the what you see is what you get developer portion of the system, and you can see that this looks like what you see when you go to the apps platform website. Now, we've been working on this site for a while, and we've prepared some new pages and we've updated some existing pages, and you can see that for each one we do a publish, and that enables us to look at the system in the development environment through a different browser. And then once we're satisfied that it's working in development, we're going to go on with the deploy step. And we're going to hit deploy button. And what the system does is it brings up a list of all of the files that are going to be transferred over to the production environment. Now you'll see there's some style sheets and some .NET code, include code, and then there's some SQL scripts that were created while we were doing our update. So normally you would hit the deploy button here, which I will do, and what it's doing now is it's preparing a zip file that contains all that information, and it's sending it to the production environment. Now we're doing a push this time, but you can do a pull too. It's over there now, and now we're going to go to the apps platform site in production, and we are going to log in as an administrator, and we're going to deploy it. Okay, on our way over to production, I wanted to show you one more feature of the apps developer, and that's the interface to the database. And what you'll see is here's a list of the tables in the database for the demo, for the website itself. And we're going to display a table script. And I'll show it to you. And this is what we're actually going to run over on production as one of the SQL scripts. You can see that here's a create table script for a table called survey data, and then and that's already over there, so it's not going to overwrite it. But then what the system can do, if you want it to, is produce an audit table for the data table survey data. And I won't explain the whole thing to you, but what it does is that it prepares triggers, 2 triggers for you for the survey data table. One for inserts, when you put a new record in, and then one for updates when each of the fields in the data table is updated. All right, now on our way to deploy in production, we're actually going to do an intermediate step, which is, and this is what I'll show you, and I won't duplicate it in production. But what this is we're going to go to our what sometimes is called the release environment or the staging environment, and we're going to deploy here first. And the steps to deploy over in prod are exactly the same. So we're just going to do it here first. We've already logged in as the administrator, and we're going to, well, it wants us to log in again, so we're just going to do it. Okay, and we're logged in as the administrator now, and we're going to go to the deploy area. All right, now, there are 6 steps, or there could be 6 steps if you want to go through them all, to deploy a new release into a new environment. In this case, it's an intermediate environment, the release environment, or staging. Now, normally what you would do is you would hit the first button, which is called Backup Code and Database. And you click that, and the system, this is over in that new environment, will do a backup of your database and do a backup of your website, so that if your release doesn't go well, you can restore to the previous version, and we'll show you a little bit about that. Now, the next step is to deploy the code, and we'll push that button, and now the code is being deployed from the zip file. So there's 2. If you want to do it, you normally would do deploy code, and then you would do deploy the SQL, and it would actually run the SQL scripts, and then your code base would be updated and your SQL scripts would be updated. We're going to look at, this is the output of the deploy of code, and it lists some directories where the files are, and then this is the meaningful one here, where you can see it's taken all those files that we saw over in the apps developer and deploys them. And so you can verify that the deploy has actually worked. All right, now you can go into the website itself and look at how it all is working and verify that everything that you wanted to get over there is there. And then it's going to be operating, and you'll realize that we have updated the audit table for the survey data table, and we've installed the triggers. So now what we're doing is, from the point of where we did this release, we are recording as an audit trail table every single change that's made to that table. Now, we're doing that because we're going to just say that this is going to fail 2 days out. We realize that something went wrong. One of our users has notified us that something isn't working, and we want to go in and restore the system to its state 2 days ago. Well, we don't want to lose all the data that we've been clicking in, so what we're going to do is we're going to take all the data from the audit table and save it somewhere, and that's called play forward prepare, and we would click here, and then that saves it into a new table, actually into a new database, and we are ready now to restore the code in the database that we backed up when we did the release 2 days ago. So you click here, and what it does is it restores the code base and it restores the database. And then the next step is to hit the play forward here, and what it's doing there is it will go through the audit trail table, and it will go through every change that's been made to the table and update the data that you've entered since you did the release. Now, in this particular case, we haven't added any new fields to the survey data table, so it's a the data is technically you're going to use everything that you entered, but in some cases you want to save as once you do the restore. Then you play the data forward. If you've added a field or two, you're actually going to lose that data. Well, you don't lose it, but you're not going to update the current to release to show that. You can recover those new fields, and then once you do your next release, you could update the data table to then contain the data that you entered. Okay, so now we're back in Apps Developer, and we're back to the page that we were showing before, the first page in the website. And we've had a successful deploy. We even moved ahead a couple days and described the restoring and playing forward of the data that we captured in the intervening 2 days. So we can go back and track down the faulty code or faulty store procedure or whatever and fix it and redeploy. And again, to redeploy, we just go to the screen in Apps Developer, and after we fixed everything and published everything and tested everything in the development environment, and we can hit the deploy button and repeat the steps that you've just seen. Goes pretty quickly. So anyway, we've covered a lot of ground. Thanks for taking the time to look at the demo. It's one of many concepts in the DevOps area, and we'll probably do some more demos at a later time. Thank you.